work. In just over a week, both his press secretary and chief of staff resigned, and then the guy who helped push those two out left after 10 days on the job. Even more people might be gone before you finish this video. Since Trump's been in office, he managed to fire the FBI director and Twitter troll his attorney general in hopes that he quits as well. All because they disagree with him. I mean, hello. That is what you call a hostile work environment. And since people like Trump would be reported to HR and probably disciplined.
If we had a manager that was acting the way that Trump is acting, the disciplinary actions would be, either to remove the person from the position, or at some point you just determine that it's just not a good fit. At the point that you have somebody in a leadership position that is harassing employees or degrading or belittling employees, both publicly and I'm pretty sure privately, that sets us up for lawsuits or some sort of
The Thomas Kilmann model of conflict management organizes 5 conflict management styles based on 2 dimensions: assertiveness and cooperativeness. People react differently to conflict, or better, conflicting interests. Every style has different degrees of assertiveness and cooperativeness. In other words, how much focus is on your own concerns and how much on satisfying the other person's needs. In any conflict situation, you may respond in one of several ways: by competing, accommodating, avoiding, collaborating, or compromising. The first style I would like to describe is competing. This is the win-lose approach. You act in an assertive way to achieve your goals, without seeking to cooperate, and it may be at the expense of others. This approach may be appropriate for emergencies, when time is of the essence or where you need quick, decisive action. Avoiding is when you simply avoid the issue. You're not helping others reach their goals and you're not pursuing your own. This works when the issue is trivial or when you have no chance of winning. It is also very effective when the atmosphere is emotionally charged and you need to create some space. The style collaborating can also be described as the win-win approach. This can be effective for complex scenarios where you need to find a novel solution. This can also mean reframing the challenge to create a bigger space and room for everybody's ideas. The downside is that it requires a high degree of trust, and reaching consensus can require a lot of time and effort to get everybody on board. Accommodating is when you cooperate to a high degree, and it may be at your own expense and actually work against your own goals. This approach is effective when the other party is the expert or has a better solution. It can also be effective for preserving future relations. And finally, compromising. This is the lose-lose scenario. Neither party really gets what they want. It requires a moderate level of assertiveness and cooperation. It may be appropriate for scenarios where you need a temporary solution, but the trap is to fall into compromising as an easy way out. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Resolving conflict. In any decision-making process, there is potential for conflict to develop. People may find it difficult to work together because they have different values and interests, or because their personalities and attitudes are not compatible. Conflict that is not properly handled can have a negative effect on council activities. It can reduce productivity and affect the morale and confidence of council members. However, well-managed conflict can help to clarify issues. It can create new opportunities for discussion and strengthen relationships among members. Here is a helpful list. Number 1, acknowledge that there is a problem. Clarify and clearly state the concerns, needs, and interests of the people involved in the dispute. Emphasize the ground rules. Adopt a positive tone and a problem-solving attitude. Set ground rules that will help maintain a courteous, respectful environment for discussion. Some of these ground rules could be no interruptions, respect each person's opinion, address the issue and not the person, or each member is encouraged to contribute. Number 3, look for areas of agreement. Start by helping members find common ground. Identify areas of agreement before addressing the differences. Number 4, affirm the value of different opinions. Discuss the fact that different opinions are natural in a group. Help members separate the opinion from the person holding the opinion, and do not allow personal attacks. Focus on the problem, not the person. Number 5, listen to everyone's point of view. Let council members express their opinions and perspectives. People will be more willing to discuss alternatives if you acknowledge and legitimize their right to hold particular points of view, even if you don't agree with them. Number 6, define the conflict early. Make sure you understand the issue causing the conflict and that you are focusing on the right problem. Try to identify any assumptions, expectations, misinformation, or lack of information that may be influencing members' opinions. Many conflicts can be resolved by improving communication and explaining issues carefully. Number 7, create solutions. Identify a range of options for solving the problem. Invite others in the group to help resolve the conflict. List the advantages and disadvantages of each option. And finally, number 8, choose a solution. Choose the best solution and follow up to make sure that it is carried out. We hope that this list has been helpful in how to resolve conflict among council members. Thank you. Take care.
Of a cab.
Why don't you watch where you're going?
Miss Redhead, could you take our picture?
I don't know. Who takes the bus?
Oh, I'm not touching that camera. I don't want swine flu.
Oh,
You
my
idiot!
God, you're a grown man on a bike!
Does the soup have any dairy?
And I'm cold. Can you turn down the air conditioning?
I don't know, but what fun question.
My daughter is a comedian, technically. That's one of the reasons I don't have grandchildren. And you have to laugh.
I would love for you to leave now.
What are you gonna do for bartender?
We'll get a robot.
You know who you look like? A really beaten up young Sherry Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Short.
I can't wait to die!
First, he shifted his attention to his feelings and his thoughts. This stopped him from internalizing Margot's criticism and focused him on his reaction to it. You can also shift your attention to a physical sensation you're experiencing, like sweaty palms or a pounding heartbeat. Second, Joe responded with a non-judgmental observation. When we feel attacked, we often launch into this counterattack. But that only escalates things. When you respond with an observation, you actually disarm the other person. They can only back off, which is exactly what Margot did. In some situations, you can add a third step to this process, and that's asking a thoughtful question. For example, during another presentation Joe was giving, a colleague of his, Ted, kept picking up business calls on his cell phone. Joe said, "I know you're busy and your calls are important, but is there anything I can do to help you take care of your other commitments?" A thoughtful question can help the other person become aware of their inappropriate behavior, and maybe even stop it. You can't make difficult people disappear, but the process I just described can help you change the situation by changing your own reaction. You can use this process in your professional and personal life, and the more you practice it, the easier it gets.
Many people believe the two terms are synonymous. However, there is a notable distinction. Bargaining is a zero-sum situation where individuals are so linked together that there's a negative correlation between their goal attainments. In other words, two or more parties are trying to divide something so that one party leaves with the desired something and the other party leaves with nothing. Bargaining is said to be distributive because two or more parties are dividing something up. They are distributing it. Bargaining provides one party with something and all other parties receive nothing. Therefore, a clear win-lose scenario arises. This is also referred to as fixed pie situation. The proverbial pie is only so big and everyone gets a piece. Negotiation, on the other hand, is an integrative because it attempts to make sure each party gets a part of something. Negotiation is a non-zero sum, where each party involved works cooperatively. The goals are linked so that there is a positive correlation between the goal attainments of all parties. Negotiation is a form of decision-making in which two or more parties talk with one another in an effort to resolve their opposing interest. Negotiation creates a win-win situation because all parties arrive at a mutually acceptable solution. This is referred to as growing the pie. In this case, the proverbial pie can be increased in size so that everyone gets what they want. As you can see, there's in fact a distinction between bargaining and negotiation. Bargaining, by nature, tends to be competitive because one party is the clear winner and all other parties lose. On the contrary, negotiation is cooperative because all parties are winners and are satisfied with the mutual solution they reach.